Always a pleasure to be joined by head coach of MMA Factory Paris, Fernand Lopez, who's a very, very busy man and kind enough to join me today. Fernand, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing, Farah?
I'm doing good. It seems like you always have something going on, right? Of course, with Aries and then flying to corner different fighters and a few busy weeks coming up right now, right? You've got Ciryl at UFC 285 and then Aries the week after, right?
Yeah, that's true. Aries the week after, and then after that, I have William Gomez fighting in Vegas again in Apex.
Okay,
Uh,
there you go.
yeah.
Yeah, well, let's start off with UFC 285 since that's first. Ciryl taking on Jon Jones. How did that fight come about? Because we knew Jon Jones was kind of going to be linked to the heavyweight title, and then we hear it's against Ciryl Gane. Obviously, very exciting news for you guys. But how did this fight come about?
I've been fighting for that. We have been fighting for that since after UFC Paris. As soon as we finish UFC Paris, what happened is that I showed a message to Hunter and asked him that I thought that the how to say the narration of Francis against Jon Jones is something that. Of course, we do respect due to the services of Jon Jones and who he represents as a god. And but if anything falls out or if they have any issues, we will be there, and we would. I didn't want them to give that opportunity to Stipe, and I was fighting to be the next in line as soon as they finish with Francis against Jon Jones. And I was keep poking him time to time. And when we had that opportunity to go in Vegas to corner Nasruddin, that's why we set an appointment with them, and we and I sent a call to them, and we had an appointment booked in the UFC headquarters, and from there we start to walk around how to try to have this happen, like everything that we could, including the text, the Twitter of Ciryl asking Jones where is it, what he want to do, and that was matching. I mean, the timing was good because at that point the reaction was like, whoa, there's a lot of people expecting this fight, and they see that fight as a fight that can be uh, be funny. And at that point the matchmaking started to considering having this fight because of the situation. Not They didn't find a way to solve the problem with Francis. They didn't, and at that point, I was thinking, oh, this makes sense. That fight can take place.
Yeah, I mean, Ciryl, of course, a former interim champion coming off of the win against Tai Tuivasa. But I wanted to ask you, of course, what were your thoughts on Francis leaving? Were you surprised? Did you expect him to leave the UFC?
I wasn't surprised, and I knew that if he's not satisfied, he will do that. He will leave the UFC, and I knew that as soon as he decided to go, and this kind of how to say the hard time with the UFC, I thought that at some point there might be some they might just split, and I wasn't surprised.
Do you think he comes back to the UFC? I know he's always wanted to box, and you know that more than anyone. Of course, you were around his career for a very long time. Do you think he comes back to the UFC, sticks to boxing? What do you think he does?
I'm sure that he's coming back to the UFC. I'm pretty sure that he will be back to the UFC. I mean, the way the way they choose the different parts that were that's happened with a lot of respect. Like Cyril didn't, I mean, Francis didn't use any, like, no way back word, anything like, and the way Dana White spoke, saying that we will just leave him go do whatever he want to do, and I can tell that the way he's moving, at some point we'll see him back in the MMA. I mean, I think that he have one or two shots in boxing, and then he will mm, level up his value, and then try to come back and at least in MMA and probably in the UFC.
And before we talk about Cyril's fight with Jon Jones, I wanted to talk about UFC Paris because it was such a magical moment, his fight against Tai Tuivasa. And I remember I talked to Cyril before the fight and he said, I want to put on a show for the fans. He kept saying that. He said, not that Cyril doesn't usually put on a show, but it seemed like that was like his main thing, fighting in front of his home fans. And of course, we got an amazing, amazing fight. Got knocked down for the first time in his career. What was your reaction when you kind of saw him slugging it out with a guy like Tai Tuivasa who has power like Tai Tuivasa? Were you kind of like nervous in the corner? What was your reaction?
Absolutely, I was terrified. Like I knew that can happen at some point. But when it happened, you were like, no, this is not true. Come on, you know. But I mean, it's crazy. Like you want things, and when it happened to you, you shit on yourself. Like I've been saying this to Siri that I'm pretty sure that you will show the best version of you when you get knocked down and when you get beat up. When I mean, like you need dogfight, you need something brutal to happen to you, and then you will wake up. But I didn't expect my reaction when that happened because I was seeing that coming. If you check the commentary on the video that the UFC provide, I was saying to Siri, stop back down with your chin up. Watch out. Stop backing down like that. Just try to face him, and instead of going backward with the chin up. And a second after that, boom. It got caught, and I was terrified. I was like, whoa. And that took me like 2 and 3 seconds, and I know that is okay because he started to run the opposite way of Tatuvasa. Then when he felt that Tatuvasa was chasing him, then he changed the direction, go through Tatuvasa, and then he had the opportunity to hang a little bit on his body and then recover a little bit. Then that's how you can tell that there's a fight IQ even someone get hit, And but I was terrified, definitely.
Yeah, because I feel like it almost like had a lot of people give him extra respect because Cyril's always been kind of like a perfect fighter. We've never really seen him in too much trouble in fights, and then that happens, and all of a sudden it seemed like now we know how Cyril deals with adversity. It was like almost a question that was unanswered in his career so far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a question that I do have the answer already myself. Like, I missed this time when Ciryl wasn't in the UFC. I missed this time in the TKO when Ciryl was in the very tough spot because he didn't know anything about the MMA and he was scared. And when Ciryl is scared and when he's in danger, he's very, very dangerous. Like when he's like he had doubt and he's not sure of what he's doing, the instant peak over and then it start to it become like very dangerous, very surviving mode, And that's what happened to the TKO. People they tend to think that is because the level of the TKO was a small level, but I know I can tell that when he had that long problem in the TKO that he couldn't breathe, then he had no choice that he had to go to fight this guy and try to finish him very quick. When he had the guy try to take him down and he was so scared of the ground game, then he was very savage, very dangerous. But the new Ciryl in the last 7 fights in the UFC was a lot of evolution. He was confident. He know that if you bring me down, I can. If you try to bring me down, like Francis tried to take him down, I can catch the kimura on you. I can have you the guillotine. I can go for the heel hook. So all this stuff make him not. I mean, very how to say very polyvalent with many tools, but not in survive mode, which we we discover again in UFC Paris, where he just woke up and was like, okay, you know what? This is my country. This is my people. This is 70,000 people cheering for me. I cannot let them down. I need to finish this fight. And that's the mode that I would like to have him.
That was an amazing fight. And speaking of Paris, I've been hearing that maybe August, I don't know if you can say or if you've heard anything, but you think UFC comes back to Paris August, September, around that time?
Yes.
Okay. Seems like you know something, but I don't know how much you can say. But I think the French fans will be excited to hear that. Well, I mean, after the win over Tai, I remember I spoke to Ciryl and he was telling me I hope to beat Tai and get an interim title shot. Now he gets for the vacant heavyweight belt. He gets Jon Jones. 3 years we haven't seen Jon Jones fight. Do you pay mind to that? Because it's not only 3 years, but it's a heavyweight Jon Jones. So how do you kind of study Jon Jones? Do you look at everything he's done? Do you put in mind that maybe you'll be getting a different fighter than he was at light heavyweight?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they say different fight, different style. What I know is that if you try to think about Jon Jones and you try to look the last final trio fight that he had in the light heavyweight round, you might think that is that wasn't great. But if you take the time to check one by one fight by one that he did on his career, this guy barely get touched. He's very dangerous. His Farah is out of the roof is very very good, and I'm expecting to have the best Jon Jones, the one that we saw in Daniel Cormier 2, the one that is very agile, very dangerous, very vicious, very, and like I definitely think that we're going to have the best fighter that we ever on Jon Jones. And if the layoff, 3 years layoff complete, that will be a good surprise for us. But I don't want kind of that. I don't want kind of that because Jon Jones is cerebral. Jon Jones is someone like Ciryl Gane. This type of guy, they're learning a lot, watching TV, watching just steps on, watching UFC. They can learn. Talking with coaches, they can learn. They don't need to practice. They don't need the kinesthesia. They don't need to. If you just give them the good word, they can become very dangerous. And so I trust that we will have the best Jon Jones we ever had in the cage, because he had 2 years to think, to measure, to build up necessary muscle that he will need in the heavyweight division. And this is the scenario that I like to work on it. I would like to work in the worst scenario, and if that become a good scenario because it's the less good Jon Jones that we had, then good for us.
When a lot of people have been breaking down this fight or analyzing it, they talk about wrestling, that wrestling is going to be Jon Jones' key to victory. And they also point to Cyril's loss to Francis Ngannou. Is that what you guys are looking at? Are you expecting Jon Jones to come and try to wrestle Ciryl Gane?
Absolutely. I think no matter what Jon Jones or his team will say, they have a plan A as wrestling. No matter what they do in the first round, they will try the wrestling as soon as this thing start. I believe it. I'm not saying that Jon Jones will not cut Ciryl there and here, time to time. I believe he's very good on striking. I believe he can touch everyone. I believe, but let's be serious. Ciryl is something on the field. Whenever you start to fight with him, you will find out very very clear. You will find out that there's something that not correct. There's something that push you back. There's something that you will find out very quick that this guy is different. It's another level of striking. I mean, the way he moves, the body language will put you in the situation that you cannot face that, and you will have to you will have to just shoot the double leg and or shoot for the body lock. So I know that we will face the wrestling. We will face the very good wrestling of Jon Jones.
What do you say to those who are questioning Cyril's grappling? Because I don't know, the way I look at the Francis fight, I feel like it maybe took you guys by surprise that Francis even wrestled in that fight. Francis is also a very strong guy. When people are questioning Cyril's wrestling, what's your answer to them?
I think they're right. They don't know what's going on. They don't know the reality, and you cannot blame them. You cannot if you take back, most of the guy when they watch a fight, they just watch the fight in live and then it's gone. And then the next week, the next Tuesday, they're preparing themselves to check another fight. They don't have time to double check and to rewatch the fight. I did rewatch the fight, and I don't believe that. Uh, I think people do underestimate a lot of the level of power and the power that can possess Francis Ngannou. I think people don't understand that this guy is. I mean, it happened for him to cut weight to be a heavyweight. Like when he fought against Stipe, he did cut weight. He did cut 3 kilo. He's full of muscle. He's stiff. He's strong. He's agile. He's powerful. And at the same time, he has basic and fundamental wrestling. He know how to wrestling. I wasn't surprised at all. Like I said again, at all. I wrote a book on that, saying that I wrote the book in real time. So it's not something that I try to lie on that. And even Ciryl Gane said that in numerous interviews, saying that I knew that my coach told me many and many times that they will not be choices. Francis will shoot at me and will take me down. But I don't know why. My wrestling mode was off. Maybe because I was focused how to evade those powerful shots of Francis. Maybe because I was focused on something else. But for me, I didn't see Francis as a danger in wrestling. I didn't seem like someone who could put me in danger because I knew that my ground game was good and I could submit him. But when they start fighting, if you check the first and the second round, the Francis muzzled Ciryl a lot, like body lock. It was like pushing him, pinning him to the fence, and Ciryl was firing that body lock on the hook and try to pivot him and try to control him in the cage. When you are not a wrestler, that take you a lot of energy out. That get you exhausted. And people didn't count that. They just say, how can he be that tired in the fifth round? But because he was the one bouncing around for 25 minutes. He was bouncing around when the opponent was walking. He was bouncing. He was the one defending the wrestling. He was the one who attacked the Kimura and tried to. Do you know how that exhausting to try to extend Francis Ngannou's arm when he started to bend the arm? That's crazy amount of power that he possessed. And this kid was trying to hit that Kimura. If he did it, if he succeeded that Kimura, everyone would have said, wow, what a jujitsu this kid had. And people they just forget it because Francis managed to get out of that. And then he was shooting for the sweep, and then he was going for the heel hook, and then he was trying everything that he could to be efficient and to do something. He ducked and was going for the knee bar. All these things, attempt of submission with a heavyweight that know how to use his weight, how to be that kind of mobile is, it's kind of dangerous. And people they don't evaluate how many power and stamina that Ciryl was defending that and coming back and bringing the volume of striking, because in the volume it was very good. He was picking him apart. He was touching him. He was lighting him up. He was bringing the wheel kick back. He was going with the spinning thing, everything that he could do on the striking department. If you add that to the wrestling, that's a lot of stamina going out.
Because you guys are expecting Jon Jones to wrestle, what has this training camp looked like? Has it been bringing guys in and just a lot of wrestling?
No, first of all, we want to stay on what we can do. We are not focusing on what Jon Jones can do. I think most of the people losing fight against Jon Jones because of the amount of respect that they have for Jon Jones. I've been huge fan of Jon Jones. I'm still even fan of Jon Jones. But that being said, when the fight starts, there's no way to respect the guy at the point that you will not take your chance to beat him and and punch him in the face. So what I'm saying is that before going there to have the mindset of defending the takedown, this is not the way to do that. The way to do that is to fight. Go there for the fight. Go there for the dog fight, and then we see what happens. First of all, you have the plan E, which is let's fight. I mean, like, let me punch you in the face, and then you will try to take me down, but you will take some chance. You will put yourself in danger because I will try to hurt you when you try to bring me down. And then after that, if you bring me down, then I will pull out the plan B, which is you think that I don't have any ground game. You will see that I can do some stuff on the ground. I can surprise you in the wrestling. I can take you down. Why are we going to spend our time talking about how great it is and how we can defend the wrestling? Why don't we think about how we can punch him in the face and how we can surprise him with a takedown because we punch him in the face? Okay, if I told you before that Leon Sedouard can take down Usman Kamaru and sit on top of him, have the man position for 30 seconds, you will say you're crazy, you're out of your mind, right? But that happened. So what I'm on to say right here is that no, let's just go there and fight. Let's go there. And Ciryl is not that easy. Let's focus on what he can do. When you have the mobility and the size, is almost unfair because most of the time you have either one or another. But having mobility and be that size, that heavy that is Ciryl, is not easy to deal with. So I just want to focus on what Ciryl can do to hurt Jon Jones. I just want to think how Ciryl can stop Jon Jones, be the first to stop Jon Jones. I don't want to focus on what is the danger that we will face when we face Jon Jones. Then you stay there because you stay there scared because the guy is a code and he's a champ and you have that name, that credential that he defended the title so many times. He did this and did that, and then you start to before you know what happened, you start to admire him. You start to be a fan of him instead of go there and fight him.
Fair enough. And Jon Jones, usually a light heavyweight, had a lot of physical advantages. His reach, I believe he's still going to have a reach advantage over Ciryl, but nothing crazy, 3.5 inches. Usually, sometimes you'd have like 10-inch reach advantage. He'd have kind of the height, the speed, the agility, but he's going against a guy in Ciryl who kind of moves like a middleweight. So when Jon Jones is putting on all that weight, you talked about energy when you're wrestling and defending wrestling. How do you expect his cardio to fare in 25 minutes if he's going to employ a wrestling game plan against Ciryl?
Farah, I don't know. I mean, I can assume. I just can assume that that will be a little bit expensive because when you're heavy and you carry a lot of weight, I can assume, but I don't want to assume that will bring him sort of bad stamina. I just want to think in my head that we will be facing the worst Jon Jones ever, which is the Jon Jones that was on in prime when he faced Daniel Cormier for the second time. This is the dangerous Jon Jones. That's what the Jon Jones that fought Gustafsson the second time. I just want to think about the best Jon Jones ever, and then we can we can prepare for that. What I know is that Jon Jones is huge, is big, have size advantage. Used to have size advantage, but now it's kind of different. Ciryl is a little bit younger, a little bit athletic, more athletic, I won't say. But at the same time, Ciryl has, I mean, like the experience of Ciryl in the fight is literally nothing in the side of Jon Jones. Jon Jones has seen, have been a seen, he's seen, I've been seeing everything. Like this guy was, I mean, like the amount of time that he fought for the belt is just insane compared to what Ciryl is doing. This is the third time for Ciryl to fight for the belt. This guy have been doing that times and times and times. So I really think that the fight IQ, the experience of Jon Jones, which match very well with the youthness of Ciryl Gane, with the size advantage that Ciryl Gane can have on him. Like, I mean, they will be both tough, huge, heavy. But what I'm saying is that Ciryl is used to do that. But again, a good fight is a fight that can bring a lot of question on table. And this fight brings a lot of question on the table. How will play the 3 years layoff? How will play the buckle that he has, the big size that he have now? How will place the fact that Ciryl will be facing the greatest fighter of all the time in the cage? How will play the you know will he be nervous? Will he be handling this softly? We don't know. There's a lot of question on the table. That's why this fight is a great fight.
Yeah, I agree. Because like you said, a lot of kind of question marks when people are breaking this fight down, because there's a lot of kind of change in Jon Jones. But Fernand, I appreciate your time. I'll ask you a couple more questions. Ciryl had recently said in an interview with La Soeur, where he was talking about kind of, he admits he gets a bit lazy. And I saw a lot of people make a very big deal about it, which is why I wanted to ask you. I know Ciryl is a hard worker, but he was kind of talking about how maybe he won't train until he hears about a fight. So I just wanted to get your comments on that.
That's true. That's how Ciryl used to be. Before, Ciryl was the kind of guy that will train only if you have the fight announced. And since the loss that he had, that was a very good thing that happened, is that Ciryl just changed his mindset. And Ciryl started to train even when we don't have a date. Like when we arrived in Vegas, we didn't know that we will have a fight. But still, I brought a guy there, Rida Metouche, who's one of the best grappler in France. I brought him with us in US, in Vegas, to be around so we can keep training with Ciryl every time, because Ciryl now knows that the evolution is coming when you don't have a date, so you can improve, so you can learn, so you can add some tools. But whenever you have a date, you cannot thinking about evolution anymore. You're thinking about the fight, how to beat this guy in front of you. So when they give you the name Jon Jones, everything drops at the development. Now you focus on how to beat the fighter. So before, that was Ciryl, but now I don't complain with Ciryl. I don't complain on that. And people, I don't know why people, they are surprised when Ciryl saying that he didn't have enough of time. He's not trying to have any excuse. He's not saying any excuse. He's being truthful, saying that usually a camp, when you do a camp, it's like 3 months, all right? But we didn't have 3 months, because when they announced the fight, we had less than 2 months. That's it. That's what he's saying. What he's saying is that if I could have picked the date, I would have sort of camp. The best camp that we can have is like 3-4 months, because then you can have the time to develop the strength and then go for there and try to bring the mobility and then have the advantage. But this time we had to make it different, work on the how to say it, to maintain the stamina, to maintain the strength that he had during the time that we didn't have a fight. Even he was injured, he was keep training on the strength conditioning. So I'm not worried about that. What he's saying is not any excuse. Try to prepare excuse like if he lost, in case he's lost, I mean that because he didn't train. No, that's bullshit. I mean, like, if you think Jon Jones have been training for Francis, he has been having lifting all that weight because of Francis, because Francis is less mobile and you can go there and fight with him, muscle with him. But with Ciryl, you need to train differently. So they have both the same level of training, which is okay. You spend 3 years preparing your fight against Francis Ngannou. In the end, you need to swamp sparring. You need to change things, and you need to add the new partner in the gym. Looking at Ciryl, it's not easy to find someone with foot growth like Ciryl. It's not easy to find that kind of smart guy in your gym. So what I'm saying is that, yeah, if that was the perfect time, the perfect everything, you would have spent like 3 months training rather than 2 months training. That's it.
That's a good point. And one last one before I let you go. What does a kind of a perfect night for Ciryl Gane look like? How does he get his hand raised?
Provide everything goes well, I think that that will be a KO. I think that what we're looking for right now is a KO. Like we really want to stop. Ciryl want to stop Jon Jones. He want to be the first to stop him, like literally stop him, TKO or KO, and we just focus on that. We're thinking about that, and we know that can be a nightmare. Like the fight can just turn like a very dog fight, and that can be a nightmare because of the control of this guy, because of his wrestling, because of this. But again, Ciryl Gane have been gifting with a different set of skill that can make him a nightmare for the style of Jon Jones. Because I mean, this is a kid who just chant lately and move and shift and rebuild the standard of heavyweights movement and striking. Like they will be before Ciryl Gane and after before Ciryl Gane in the heavyweight division. When he arrived, then you start to see around guys light on their feet, striking like Thomas Pinal, like Del Cost, all these young men. So this is the new standard, and we have a lot of questions. How did that standard match with the old standard of Jon Jones? How they match? And I'm very curious as a coach, but also just as a spectator to check how that goes. But the best way to do that, it will be I mean that the best night for Ciryl will be to have what he wish. What he wishes to stop him, and the best way to stop him, that can be a submission. But I think that the, the the place where you get the more chance to stop that fight will be on the field, and for that you need to go there, gun blazing, and try to hurt him.
Great stuff, Fernand. I appreciate the time. Merci beaucoup. Always a pleasure catching up with you, and we'll talk soon. Best of luck on March 4th.
Merci Farah, à bientôt. Au revoir.